welcome to another episode of Lie, Cheat, and Steal, the podcast about liars, frauds, thieves, and bullshitters. I'm your host, Patrick Royce. Just to let you guys know, we drop 2 episodes every month. So if you want to check us out wherever you're listening to podcasts, you can do that. If you want to follow us on social media, we are on all social media platforms, and by all, I mean 3. That's we are on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Lie, Cheat, Steal Podcast. And if you really like what you're hearing, and you're like, I want 2 more episodes every month that are ad-free and access to the Discord server, because I'm just so knee-deep in this sauce over here, you can check us out at patreon.com/lie, cheat, and steal. We're there. We're everywhere. You're here. I'm here. Not in studio, unfortunately, like the last batch episodes, with my co-host, as always, Kath Barbadoro. How you doing?
Hi, Pat. I'm good. I just got back from the gym. I'm finally doing barbell back squats again, which is the thing that I hurt my back doing a year and a half ago,
baby.
that I've not been able to do. So very excited about that.
Nice.
Fingers crossed I will not be re-injuring myself. But now that that is better, I have this fucking brace on because I got some tennis elbow now. I'm getting old fucking stuff, dude. Nothing works.
I thought tennis elbow was like existed in the game Operation.
You cut out for a second. Sorry.
Oh, you did as well.
Can
you hear me?
Internet isn't a problem. Yeah.
It froze a little bit on our
check.
Check.
Oh man, I reset my router earlier today because I was having problems. Hopefully we can. Worst comes to worst, I might have to go off camera, but
okay.
We'll see. Can you hear me now? Am I good?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Did we clap? Did me and you clap, or do we need to?
No, we didn't clap. Let's clap now just in case. I think I'll be able to sync it anyway, but since we stopped.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have to go off video, we'll just have like one of those like war correspondent photos of you like over the left-hand corner. I'm just like, I'm here with Kath Barbadoro. She is in Beirut. Okay. All right. So well, I guess I'll just, you got tennis elbow. You want to just pick up there?
You said I thought it was something.
I thought that was just a Monopoly injury, or not Monopoly operation. Monopoly injuries are emotional.
I feel like it's a Monopoly injury in that rich people play tennis.
Yeah.
So it's both, you know?
Yeah,
it's
there you
both
go.
Things.
Yeah, it depends on how, like, if you're winning.
I did it.
You don't know how you did it?
Mm-mm.
There wasn't any tennis involved? Should they just call it something else, elbow?
There was no tennis involved. Apparently what it is if you have pain on the outside of your elbow, it's tennis elbow. And if you have pain on the inside of your elbow, it's golfer's elbow. This is what I have learned.
Yeah,
well, I guess you can just get it from typing or like just repetitive motion. So
be honest, folks, this is
man.
I got jacking off elbow. You know?
I think you can get it from jacking off.
I feel like I've had some elbow and wrist pain before from what I mean, you know, just I wouldn't put it past me, you know, is what I'm saying.
I think that is like a way you get it. Yeah. So,
yeah, it was tennis. You haven't played tennis in 15 years.
Anyway, enough about my aches and pains. How are you? How are you, Pat?
I'm good. A little bit of aches and pains on my end. The Austin comedy scene, or at least our branch of it, said goodbye to a very treasured place that we really can't name or talk about. But no,
can't we now that it's closed?
Oh, totally, we can. Yeah. For the last 5 years, me and the homies were operating an illegal speakeasy bar that was super cool, and you had to hit a little video button to go in, and that was the only place we hung out. And our good friends, who are very creative and have wonderful taste, made it look beautiful over the years, and it was a really special place to us. But those guys are now running a real bar, and they have moved on, and so we had a little.
Don't say which bar.
I can't because I can't link them. Yeah.
Right. They are not linked.
They're not linked. Yeah. Don't. Yeah. I swear to God, if you cross-check this shit,
they're not opening a new bar.
They're not opening a new bar. They're opening a comic book store.
Sunset.
Yeah. They got married. Okay, leave them alone. They got married and they moved. Anyway, but a place that was very near and dear to our heart. That was just like our comedians lost a bar here called Mugshots during the pandemic, and this place kind of substituted. It was a place where you could just go and everybody knew your name and they were always glad you came, and it was just a fun hang. And so that is shut down. It was really fun sending it off, though. It was cool. A whole bunch of people who haven't been over there in a long time came out, and it was just it was cool. It was a good one. It was bittersweet because like I still go there all the time. Yeah, but that happened. But yeah, I mean, other than that was very fun. It was still very fun. I still see all those guys all the time. So
yeah, I mean, I think the fact that it is closing at the will and behest of the people who were running it is a victory.
Yeah.
I think, like when you're running an illegal speakeasy, that isn't always how things end. And I think they really triumphed. And yeah, it was like a very it was a pretty chill, peaceful place, you know, like not a lot of bad stuff happened there. Like compared to most regular
bars. Yeah, there's fights, breakups are some breakups have happened at the lodge, I would imagine.
Some breakups happen there, but nothing. I don't know. Everybody came out unscathed.
Yeah,
no one got arrested. No one got hurt. Really, minus like a scuffle, maybe once in 5 years. That's not bad.
Yeah. It was pretty good. Met a lot of cool people. So that was fun. But so I want to get into our top topic today. But speaking of making mistakes, no, we didn't make mistakes there. Basically, on our last episode we did was about fake job listings, and it always astounds me how like just talented and smart our listeners are. And I'm not just buttering you guys up, but you guys really are. I know some of you guys a little well through online stuff, and you guys are all just always cool. Never cease to amaze me. Well, we had somebody reach out who just they said they just want to know that they work in the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And we've talked about it on the podcast before when people have been like when Elon Musk was talking about rockets. I didn't know anything about rockets, so I assumed he knew what he was talking about. And when Elon Musk talked about electric cars, I didn't know anything about those. I assumed he knew what he was talking about. But then the guy talked about programming. He's like, and I know about programming. And he, like this is what this gentleman said. He's like, you can tell he didn't know what the hell he was talking about. And so
I saw John Mulaney do a great joke about this, about the New York Times. I might have mentioned it on here.
Oh, I think it's where I got, what I'm saying. Is when they start talking about something you know about. That's what you had mentioned.
Yeah, so it's like they're talking about the New York Times, like you think they're really smart till they start talking about something you know about.
Yeah.
And so you're like, wow, I guess the situation in Yemen is really complicated. And then you turn the page and you're like, wait a minute, that's not where the G train goes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we had...
No, and that is absolutely true of our podcast. Like, please double check what we're saying. We're comedians. We're not... We do our best. Like, we try, we strive for truthfulness, but we don't necessarily get everything right. So
we do not.
The job episode, we have some corrections to issue. I understand from our labor statistics listener.
So he's
go for it.
Want to say that he works in the he's an employee in labor statistics. He reached out to us and he's been listening to since episode number 1 back in 2017. So hell yeah, bro. But he had a moment where he was yelling at his phone because he was just like, no, that's not how it works. So we had said that when jobs are added, that the basically the Bureau of Labor Statistics goes and looks at the amount of jobs, or the amount of payroll positions opened, and then says, oh, that's how many jobs were added. He said it's really not that simple. So he said it's collected by Establishment Survey. We send survey guys to approximately 1/3 of all non-farm employment in the U.S., asking how many people they employ, how much they're paid, hours worked, etc. The responses are weighted as appropriate. The responses are weighted as appropriate or for the representative sample, and those are published monthly. He said, we are not going to look online for job postings, the count of jobs created, or lost as a month-to-month comparison of these weighted survey results. He said the other employment program is the quarterly census employment and wages, and that's the QCEW, is a census that covers 97% of U.S. non-farm employment, and it has a 9-month lag from the CES, but much more accurate data. So he said those data are taken right from states' unemployment insurance program. program, so people who would know who's losing jobs.
Gotcha.
And
That's a definitive, fairly definitive.
yeah, exactly.
number.
So they're running they have the short term and the long term, where they're running like short term gains and then fact checking it with later coming long term. And that's sounds like a much better system than what I understood. And he said it's important to it's I was like, dude, they're just fucking guessing, man. And he said it's
They're
important.
Googling.
Yeah, he said it's important to know these things because right now we have people who are actively trying to privatize every branch of the U.S. government that they can and just defund everything. And he said it's little missteps and data like this that allow essentially things to snowball into talking points for people with disingenuous agendas. So
sure,
there you
no,
go.
that is a good point of like, this is an important job. Like, this information is important, and like these fake job listings, that is a problem even outside of how things are reported. And also like the Bureau of Labor Statistics is using one metric, talking heads, etc., might be using a different metric.
Precisely.
But yeah, so thank you for that correction. We really appreciate it, and we hope you don't lose your job.
Yeah. So let's see. Speaking of jobs and growth, and just corporate expenditures and goals, I guess I wanted to get into something that has kind of came up in the last few episodes that we've done, and I wanted to just do a definitive episode and shut the hell up about it, because I bring up some of the stuff before, but there's a lot of interesting stuff today. I was talking about the subscription model, everyone's new favorite feature of the digital landscape.
I just want to say before you get into it, accept us.
Accept us.
This does not apply to us.
Guys, don't go getting all fucking crazy about this over here. Your dollars to us are important. We actually do cool things with them. But no, there's the idea of like paying for artists that you want to support, and I think that's the pure and best form of this.
Well, sure. I mean, like a subscription, there is a model for it, and it's the model we use, which is like, that's what you would do for magazines or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes sense to do it for like a new piece of entertainment. Like no, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Being like a subscription model for OnStar in your car or something like that. Like that is different.
Once every couple years, I subscribe to Apple TV and I watch a season of Severance, and then I watch that up at the 10th episode, and I immediately cancel my Apple TV subscription. So
absolutely,
I get it. I had to get a new debit card, and I got one, and I decided, you know what, I'm not going to replace my payment on anything till I have to go and use it. And it's like, yo, you got to swap your payment out, because man, especially when I was on the road, I subscribed to so many Patreon premiums for podcasts. Like, I was paying $2.99 a month for the fucking Dateline premium just because, like, I listened to that much Dateline when I was touring, because I was always just driving around. But, like, that one, I don't know, I might kick it back on because I still listen to Dateline all the time, you know? So, but yeah, if it has a value to it, something you like and that you pay for, by all means. But I wanted to talk today about just some of the crazy, how we've really lost the plot on this business model. Now, the subscription model, of course, it has benefits to users and to businesses. We'll get into those in just a little bit, but it does have areas where it's like, that should be a subscription program. That should be something that's based off that. But so I want to get into some stats here. So did you know, Kath, the average American spends $1,000 a year on subscription-based services?
Damn.
$1,000
a year.
$1,000 a year.
I'm trying to think of how much I spend. Also, this sounds like the beginning of those Rocket Money ads.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored. We're not doing Rocket Money ads.
Rocket Money wants nothing to do with me, I assure you. I would just be bad for a brand.
I'm trying to like ballpark what I spend. I guess 1,000 makes sense if you include like streaming services and I mean, I'm trying to think what else is on a subscription.
They also they said something like 66% of people underestimate how much they spend on subscription services.
They do.
Yeah. Of those, it's estimated, and tell me this might make sense for you, 20% of those subscriptions are unused.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like somebody who has to fill out a PDF once.
Yeah.
Big one.
Yeah. I have a story that I'm gonna get to. This thing that happened to me recently with the subscription service. But like, I know, like, for example, so I subscribe to stuff where you get the episode 1 week early on a few things. A lot of my nerd ass history podcasts, like Tides of History, I do that on, or just Wondery Plus in general. But this is what I thought about it is, once you get the episode the week early, you're not getting it early anymore.
You're
You're
on the
just
pipeline.
yeah. If you don't pay, you're gonna get it 2 weeks fucking late. That's I don't know. Like maybe my math is wrong on that, but it just seems like you're just stuck. It's like it's like
It's effective like one time, and then
yeah.
you're on the same
Yep.
interval as the free people. It doesn't
Yeah,
really make sense.
I'm still getting one a week. I'm not getting anything. Then
Right.
you'll have bonus ones. Like for example, that's what we structure ours around. Is you get 2 free every month. You can get 2 more for a bonus, and that's really cool. I do enjoy those. I take advantage of them. But if 20% of those subscriptions are unused, let's just say if you're using like 100 million like Americans and their subscription services, that's like several $100 million a year just on shit that's not being used. And obviously multiple billions of dollars are being spent every year on the subscriptions people know about and actually use. Streaming services, fitness apps, food delivery apps, meal planning apps, online gaming, home security, various car features, apps to jack off, apps that give us our news, apps that report crime in our neighborhood. That's pretty much the new American business landscape. And as our apps become increasingly,
now that you named all those apps, I'm like, I get how it's $1,000 because like I'm just thinking about my I subscribe to like a local newspaper here, and then I have streaming services. It's like, yeah, but I also have a Fitbit, and I also have Duolingo, and I also like all these other things that I forget about. So yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah, I have ones. Mine are mainly for content, for listening, for like podcasts is a big one. I have YouTube Premium, and I'm never going back. Like I got YouTube Premiums. I listen to so many podcasts on the job site that eventually you run out of podcasts. You want to start listening to YouTube videos. Well, then you go to like turn your phone off, throw it in your pocket. Can't listen to the YouTube video anymore. You gotta take off the battery thing, flip it around so the screen is facing out, non-contacting your skin, put it back in your pocket and hope that works. So I got YouTube Premium with no ads. I love it. I'll never not have that. Unless you guys unsubscribe. So please keep me in YouTube Premium. But as our apps become like the goods that we pay for become increasingly less tangible, the companies that sell them to us need to find a way to remain in the equation, driving profit far beyond the cost of our initial purchase. So the subscription-based solution, in a way, places less priority on profits and more so on like an idea of rent that we pay to exist in digital spaces that now house commerce. This feature has led one financial mind, Greece's former financial minister Yanis Varoufakis, to declare as the successor to capitalism, which you may have heard this term before, technofeudalism. Yeah.
Yanis Varoufakis is interesting. I remember him being like a big commentator around like the economic collapse in Greece because he was the minister of finance.
Yes.
He's an interesting dude.
There's something about him where I'm like talking about him, and it's like, oh, also like he's on like rent boy sites or something. I don't know about this, I just know about his ideas about techno-feudalism, but.
Yeah, no, I think he's cool. I think he has like good politics and stuff. I just like he just said he was like the minister of finance in Greece, and then like Greece fell apart, and then became internationally famous because of it.
Yeah, I was the director of marketing for the XFL. It's like, oh, well, I have nothing to talk to you about. Like, you clearly don't know what you're doing.
I mean, I think he was like he helped put it back together. I don't really remember, but anyway, techno-feudalism where we're all like subsistence farmers for the internet.
Yes,
like we're
exactly.
Sharecroppers.
Sharecroppers, yep.
We're sharecroppers for the internet.
Well, because capitalism was fed by profits and feudalism was fed by rents. Rents paid to serfs, rents paid by serfs to landholding elites. And you replace that when you replace the landed gentry with your Zuckerbergs, your Musks, your Bezoses of the here and now, you can understand how digital users fall neatly into the category of serfs working the land of their digital overlords. For example, Apple's App Store, which is one of the largest digital marketplaces in the world, charges developers up to 30% of their gross sales in order for the developer to sell their apps in the App Store. And that's
right, which is why if you want to subscribe to our Patreon, you should do it on your browser because it's cheaper. Don't do it through the App Store.
Oh, wow.
Because they charge 30%.
Guys, if that's what was holding you back, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that's what was holding you back, please, you see a workaround now. But, I did not know that. That's interesting. I'm going to look into that for some of my Patreons that I subscribe to.
I'm sorry. I feel like I mentioned it on here before, but maybe I didn't.
You very well may have, Kath. I forget quite a bit of things that happen.
Also, I think there was a lawsuit about it, and I think Apple lost the lawsuit, but it hasn't taken effect yet. So I don't know what the status of it is right now. Just go on your browser.
Yeah,
and read
okay, guys, subscribe, figure it out later. It'll come out in the wash. Like, just get out ahead of that. So, but yes, they pay 30% of their gross sales in order for the developer to sell apps in their app store. That's much more like rent to stay around than a fee for services rendered. You know, it's just because they're just
Yes.
opening the space to you. And it's worth noting that while Apple's device sales are seeing a decline in their subscription, seeing a decline, their subscription services raking in billions and saw 14% growth last year, which is a crazy number when you consider that in the Dark Knight, Batman deduced that Chinese businessman Lau was a criminal when his company saw steady years of 6% growth. That was enough for Batman to violate international borders, fly to China, and abscond with Lau, leaving him to be burned by the
Damn.
Joker on a pile of mob money. So
Where
just think
is
about
Batman
that.
when you need him?
Yeah, where the hell is Batman when you need him? It's just brooding. You sack of shit.
Get out there.
Yeah, get out there, man. Just Batman's friend trying to get him to date. Get out there, man. Like, come on. Like, you have $1 billion. Why are you? Now, did you hear about this is kind of fucked up. Did you hear about the Bucky's son's co-founder, the Bucky co-founder's son?
No.
Okay, so the co-founder of Bucky's, his son would take all of his friends to their vacation homes, but he would bring a lot of these girls, and then he would this girl brought her date, and her date worked in cybersecurity, and he noticed that there was a sharper image camera clock in there, and they were like, what the hell is this about? And they made a complaint, and they got this footage, and this dude had been bringing all these girls around, and then you see a picture of the guy, and you're like, yeah, there's no way he was hooking up with these girls. He had to fly them to his place out in Vail and record them, which is fucked up. And it's just like, buddy, if my dad owned Bucky's, I would simply get laid. I don't know what what are you doing wrong there, brother?
Exactly. Like, what are you doing wrong?
Yeah.
All roadblocks have been removed.
Yeah. You're on easy mode.
Power now, man. Yeah.
You're on easy mode, but the character's just running into a wall. Just you're just going back and forth. Oh man. So all this shit sucks, right? But where's the scam? Where's the scheming and the plotting? And aren't people just signing up for shit that they need and want? Sure, that's happening. But these companies who are also actively deceiving and misleading customers, and in the process are actively tanking the economy, stifling innovation, and ruining some of the things that we as a culture hold dear. So to illustrate this, I'll start with a story that centers on the most important victim of all, myself, and something that happened to me. And I feel this is a huge deal because it happened all over here, baby. But back in January, I was researching a lie, cheat, and steal episode. I was doing this shit for y'all. I was out in these digital fucking streets, and I subscribed to the Austin American Statement. I don't know if I subscribed or I did the thing like read $1 or like pay $1 and read the article. So I did something. I forget a lot of what I do. So I was just flying by night, trying to get an article done. Either I signed up or I said I would pay $1 to read the article. So this happens it said it was like $1 or something like that. So a month later in February, I get a call from Gannett Media, a company called Gannett Media that owns Austin American Statement, as well as dozens of other newspapers in major metropolitan cities. They're a huge media group on par with like Hearst and who's the image guys? Getty. So I get a call from Gannett Media asking me if I want to continue my subscription to the Statesman. And I was like, buddy, I never fucking signed up. I'm good. No, thank you. And he was like, all right, cool. So little background on Gannett. It was a media conglomerate founded by Frank Gannett in Rochester, New York in 1906. So fast forward to today, Gannett owns, as I said, dozens of major American newspapers. They are currently in negotiations to sell the Austin American Statement to Hearst Media. So I'm guessing the sale price is going to be a little inflated because from February to May of this year, Gannett Media hit me with 4 payments of $21.99.
Wow.
Yeah,
So one a month?
One a month, $88. And I saw the one that just happened in May, and I was like, what the hell? And I went through all the steps to cancel it. I'm hoping it works, but I'm not really too confident because there's a class action lawsuit being filed against it because they've done this for a very long time. You go to their Better Business Bureau page, and it's just people being like, I clicked on a link, and now I have this thing. I've tried to unsubscribe 3 fucking times, and they're substantial because they're selling you like the dying newspapers of the print of the print industry that are trying to sell these like $20 a month subscriptions, which is a lot if you don't read the paper. That's a lot if you do read the paper.
It's complicated too because it's like like you want journalism is
Yeah.
important and like you want to support good journalism, but all of these local papers are owned by these huge media conglomerates that
Yes.
suck.
Yeah.
And like and they're shady and awful. And a lot of them, I mean, look at what happened with the Washington Post where Jeff Bezos was like, "Sorry, we can only run op-eds about how good the free market
Yeah.
is." Like there are really good journalists working at these places, but like man, they make it so hard to support them because of
Yeah.
this shitty infrastructure around them. Or it's like the New York Times where there's like 3 good people working there, and then the rest of them are like, here's why Israel is great every week. And
Yeah.
it's just like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Anyway, if you're in New York, subscribe to Hellgate. They're a really good local newspaper.
Get them.
And you can get a subscription for $100 a year, which is only about $8 or $9 a month.
That's
So
rad.
thumbs up to them.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It makes it
yeah,
hard. And also,
Gannett Media,
you look
fuck
at
'em.
another thing that's behind a paywall for people is like just verified, fact checked information. You know, what I'm saying like
Right.
a lot of these independent independent outfits do a lot of the reporting through the major outlets, and it's like you know I would say independent outlets, but a lot of where you get your news, if it's not your CNN, your Fox, your Washington, stuff like that, they're essentially channeling it through their stuff. So when that's all behind a paywall, you just kind of wonder like what's getting out and how factual kind of anything
Well, yeah,
is.
I mean, like you have to pay good journalists.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Like, good journalism is hidden from the public,
Yeah.
and terrible propaganda is free and
Yeah,
ubiquitous.
yeah.
And
You
it's
can't-
like you can get it anywhere.
Yeah,
You know.
I wonder like how many just like ideological battles have been lost because somebody was like, I'm going to go fact check my cousin Randy about that vaccine that he's talking about. I don't believe him. But the fact check article was behind a paywall, and he's like, I guess I'm just going to believe my cousin. Fuck it. I don't know what else to do. You know? Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's
it's a really serious problem. And like someone pointed out that a big reason for this that gets overlooked a lot is like the newspaper used to be where you had to go for not only news but the weather,
yeah.
movie
Yeah.
show times, want ads, vacant apartments, and
Yep.
house like real estate, like all of that went through the newspaper. And so even people who didn't give a shit about the news, you would get a newspaper and
Yeah.
that would pay the journalists. So like
Yeah,
that's all
exactly. Yeah.
gone because of the internet, and they haven't figured out a way to make it profitable again, and we all suffer for it.
Yeah.
And you suffer for it, Pat, because
Yeah.
Gannett Media is soaking you.
Yeah, you know what though? This is crazy. This is gonna sound wild. This is like the second worst thing they've done, because in my research for Gannett Media, I found a real doozy that trigger warning. Okay, this is about to talk about the crimes very much in line with those committed by the Catholic Church, to give a broad scope. But in 2019, Gannett was sued under the New York State Child Victims Act by former paper boys, like multiple paper boys, who said in the 1970s and 80s, Gannett was shuffling like editors and chiefs of staff around these newspapers the same way the Pope was shuffling fucking priests around.
Yeah.
And there's like multiple paper boys who are like, I was sexually assaulted by.
God.
Yeah. So fuck you, Gannett Media. And like extra, read all about it. Supposedly good men do nothing. Like, that's just why I figure like, yeah, so what they did to me was the second worst thing. And I think that's crazy. I expected to get bumped out of the running like that, but I'll take it. I think it's for ultimately voices that need to be heard. So now, of course, so let's, I want to dial back the history of subscription-based businesses. That was just one thing that happened to me. So obviously, subscription to periodicals have been around as a business model since shortly after the invention of the printing press. And of course, we had cable TV subscriptions became prevalent in the 20th century, and streaming services, which we'll get to later, are probably what we most associate with the business model today. However, the first modern inkling of the subscription model that we know and loathe today goes all the way back to 1999 with the founding of a company called Salesforce. Are you familiar with Salesforce?
I am. Not super familiar, but I now go to like a fancy gym.
Yeah.
And all the rich dicks at my gym are in like old Salesforce t-shirts. That's
word. I bet that's like I bet that's wearing like a Dukakis shirt or something. That's gotta like signal something about yourself to people that you have an old Salesforce shirt.
I'm not like vintage, but just like a crummy gym shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, you clearly work for this company.
Yeah.
Is what it Telegraph.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like being like that's like I had like a Rand Paul shirt or something, or like there's just
No,
something
no, no.
like.
Just like a ratty shirt that they're not going to wear
Got you,
for
got
real, or
you.
like they got it for free at their
Yeah.
job.
So yeah. So I guess Salesforce, yeah, they're wedged into the tech world like that. A lot of Salesforce swag walking around that gym. Well, yeah, it was founded by former Oracle executive Mark Benioff, and Mark Benioff coined they were the first company to sell what they coined as software as a service. Because when it came to pricey top of the line software, there are many factors that made things rough enough for people on both sides of the transaction. So software obviously is expensive to develop and maintain, and this makes it hard for developers to recover costs over time. Also, it makes long-term fiscal planning challenging because you can't really anticipate sales going forward. And also customers are put off by high initial costs of software. As we all know, that Photoshop used to set you back like close to like $700 was the thing
It's
for
crazy
Photoshop.
expensive. I
Yeah.
get Adobe stuff for free through my job, but it's insane if you have to buy it yourself. It's so expensive, and it's subscription. Like, yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure you'll get into it.
Yeah. So yeah, they would just do like for example, they had when they brought in I'm so sorry. If you could do an edit point here real quick. Oh yeah, okay. No, actually that wasn't with the printer ink thing. Okay, sorry. Moving forward. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Well, yeah, you got to kind of like gauge like where like what it is you're looking for. There are certain plans that will set you back. Like for example, one of the ones that I want to talk about was the printer ink subscriptions that a lot of people talk about. I don't know if you've seen these going on with that, but to give you like an idea of a story, there's a lady that she was a HP printer buyer, right? So she buys this printer and her printer stops working. She's like, well, what the hell? My printer has ink. Well, it turns out when she bought the printer, she was enrolled in HP's ink delivery service called Instant Ink. The motto, get ready to ink differently. Which sounds gross.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. That sounds like octopus porn kind of like you're about to ink different. Like, oh, I've been inking just fine lately. You know? So now where your printer determines if your ink is low and sends you the right ink, supposedly for less. But subscribing, according to HP, subscribing to Instant Ink can save you approximately 50% on printing costs. If you're looking at the HP 67XL high yield black cartridge, you can estimate how accurate that is. Per the 67L high yield black cartridge listing, each cartridge yields about 240 pages. If you're printing the equivalent of the light plan, when you pay per month for how many pages that you're going to print. So there's a light plan, 10 pages a month for $1.49. That high yield cartridge should cost you about 2 years. 240 page yield divided by 10 pages per month equals 24 months of ink. At that rate, you'd have spent $35.76. Of course, $1.50 multiplied by 24 months, well, $1.49 on the Instant Ink plan compared to the $28.99 for one ink cartridge. So you would have lost $7.76 over the course of 2 years. The value does flip though.
Made it needlessly complicated.
Needlessly complicated. Yeah.
That.
Yeah. Well, like, so they like you could, if you were to switch it up, you would actually save money if you had the 50 prints per month for $4.99. At 50 prints, the cartridges would last just under 5 months, meaning you'll go through 2.5 cartridges in a year. That cost come out to $72.47 compared to the plan's $59.88. But that's if you even print that much. Who the hell knows how much they're printing? I don't know. I'd imagine if you're buying a printer, it's a lot. Like, I don't have a printer. I don't print shit.
Is this a story from 2025? Like, when is this from? People don't print much anymore, I don't think.
The people who do print, like, this was like 2024. And so the people who do print probably need this. So it's like, it makes sense to have it. But the CEO of HP, basically what they're doing is they're able to roll the cost of leasing a printer to you into your monthly service. So you don't even buy the printer anymore. And if you stop paying the service, like this lady does in the story, your printer just stops working, even though there's ink in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it just immediately it's like no more. Sorry, even though
Yeah.
you have the piece of hardware. Was this a Salesforce idea, or like where does Salesforce come in with this?
Oh, so so Salesforce eventually they kind of spearheaded the idea of selling like software and services like that, things that you would
Got
normally
it.
have to
Okay.
buy. So yeah,
Yeah.
Salesforce was like, then when they came out, they
They
were
like inspired this kind of stuff.
yes, yeah. Sorry if that
Okay.
was unclear, but when they came out in 2004, like they basically took the idea of like, okay, you can they would sell educational software, and they'd be like, instead of
Mm.
buying this for like it would, like said like things like $400 or $500, it was $700 for Photoshop. You could just pay for these services. We'll constantly update them, and there was good stuff because it allowed them to have a steady stream of cost income and financial planning they could report to their investors, and you could kind of get what you needed, and that was good. But of course, then it gets into the bastardization where you find things like HP, who their CEO went on a interview and was like, yeah, basically, when we sell a printer, it's at a loss. We're selling the services. If we find out that you're a printer if you're a customer that doesn't print much, we don't want you. He said, we're trying to get rid of unprofitable customers. So
I just want to go back because I just want to contest that software subscriptions are good. I don't think they're good.
I think
Sorry.
there
I
was
just want to
times,
say like
yeah,
there like I understand if you need like a constantly updated version of some software or something, but like half the time they update them and then I don't know how to use them anymore, and
very true.
I have to pay every month. Eventually, that's going to get more expensive than buying an initial software license, which is how it
Yeah,
used to work,
if
where you
you
would just
do,
own the software license.
yeah, if you get
I think it's a
Photoshop,
scam.
if it totally, it completely is. I guess I was saying when they rolled out, it was for stuff like education software and stuff that people saw some value in. There was some kind of value because eventually their IPO was the most profitable of 2004. That means a lot.
Well, you know that.
Yeah,
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 we
yeah,
all
yeah,
know
yeah.
the more profitable, the better the
Yeah,
business.
the better the business.
Uh,
But at $700 for the this is how much Photoshop would cost. You can lease it right now. I think it's like $236 a year, and you can lease it. But you're looking at in under 2.5 years, you're paying more than that initial $700. And yeah. And then also like they have all these premium things like, oh, you want to use this, like this feature, that feature, that's going to cost you more money. And that is getting kind of out of control with cars themselves. So
yeah, the car shit is crazy to
yeah,
me.
that's insane.
I see no justification for that whatsoever.
I tried to find quotes from car company CEOs because I have a perverse interest when somebody does something horrible that their positioning is good. I like to hear their reasoning because it's always
Sure.
yeah, like when you had like Brian Thompson before he got Luigi, and he was just like, well, what we're doing is we're helping make sure customers don't get taken advantage of by greedy doctors trying to force CAT scans on them and shit, like which I'm not saying that's never happened, but like it's like clearly like you're not. You're talking through your ass right here, like, and you know it.
Yeah.
So I tried to go and find automaker CEOs defending the subscription. I couldn't find anything. I didn't do like a huge like, but it wasn't like I was like, CEO talks about it, and it was they say vague things like, we're just trying to find out what works for the customer and get them the right thing. There wasn't anybody who was willing to go on the record and be like, no, this isn't a fucking slow grift into hell that we're dragging the planet with, along for the ride. Like nobody would try to defend it because I don't think you can. Like in 2022, so some media outlets noticed that BMW was selling an $18 a month subscription for heated seats. Yeah, yeah. So, like, the crazy about the cars is the shit's there. Like, the shit you need to do it is there, man. Like,
you can make the seat hot at any time.
Boy, I would be so frustrated. There would be a day where I would just be punching my cold ass seat. I would just be like, "You're fucking in there." I would just be so mad. Like,
well, it's so evil because it's like it doesn't cost BMW anymore.
Nothing. Yeah.
Than it did to make the seat hot thing work.
Yeah.
It's in there already. You bought it.
I bought it. You already covered the cost, man. And then also like let's not get it twisted. I'm paying your ass a car note every month. I know that's gonna end eventually. Right. And I know that doesn't necessarily, you guys already got the loan from the bank. I get that. But let's be fucking real. I'm paying you a car note. Plus I'm making payments on I'm dropping full coverage on this. Like, leave me alone. Just like let me live, goddamn.
Hot.
Yeah. I got my wide, cold ass. You know how rough it is in these streets. I hate this. Like, yeah, it's the worst. Well, they had the other ones where they would make them have access for Apple CarPlay. That was $80 a year to
Yeah,
have access
that's
to Apple
ridiculous.
CarPlay. Yeah, and then like also what's crazy, think about it. So if you get the heated seats one, and also here's the one that made the huge amount of news. $1,200 a year for so basically $100 a month for increased acceleration. The shit's
Yeah,
already
that's
in
crazy.
the shit's
It's
already in your
there.
car. Yeah. You have to,
It costs you money because of the gas.
yeah,
You
yeah,
don't need to
yeah,
you have to pay extra to have the car go fast. Like,
yeah,
what the fuck is
yeah,
this?
to accelerate quicker, which means like that has to cost them more money to put the shit in to make it stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah, that's a
insane.
good point.
Yeah, and then another one, friend of the show, Lane Crarup, the other half of Vanilla Presley, the comedy rap group that I do. I reached out to him because he had told me the story, and I was like, I need to get the details on this from him. But Lane had to work on his brakes, and to do that, so he was driving Lane drives a BMW, right? Good for Lane, he's doing great. But he said, yeah, it's a BMW software. I asked him, I was like, yeah, what was that the whole deal you had to pay to vibrate the bubbles out of your brakes? And he goes, oh, yeah. It's called BMW software for Toyota called ITSA or ISTA that you have to subscribe to for $100 for 3 days just to flush your brakes on the Supra. And he said, but what he was able to do, which harkens back to what we found out in the Kia Boys episode, is that he just put on a VPN that said he was in Europe and got it for $30 for 3 days because the European Union won't let you treat people this way.
Yeah. How often does that come up on our show? Just like,
yeah.
this is Europe has laws against immiserating people like
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Well, yeah, in the Kia Boys epidemic, you guys remember from the episode, this is not a problem anywhere else in the world, just here.
Mhm.
Because the little thing for the manufacturers to put it on there in the factory is like a negligible amount of money. But
Sure.
here in America, we said they don't have to do it. They're like, all right, we're not going to do it. We're going to save a couple $1,000,000 by not putting that shit in. And
Sure.
yeah, so that's just, that's insane. But like, the other crazy thing that happened with, as far as vehicles go, is sometimes the vehicle that you, sometimes the car that you have itself can just freaking end. So there was a company called Fisker Electric Cars. I don't know if you guys remember Fisker. I had never heard of it. But apparently it was an electric car company that came out riding the wave, started, of course, by Tesla and all the good folks there. But so Fisker sold an electric vehicle it was going for 42,000 pounds. But in December of 2023, so that's when the lady bought it. But in the, in December of 2023, she buys the car. And then a few months later, Fisker just goes bankrupt. And that was, so just goes bankrupt and now no longer exists to facilitate these software updates that this lady needs for her car to run. She spent 42,000 pounds on it, and it's a thing she can't sell. It's just it's a paperweight sitting in her front yard, or as they call it in London, a garden.
That's the thing about about the software licenses and shit too, where it's like, if you just sold this to me, it would work all the time.
Yeah.
But if this requires, it's like so much shit in our society where like we talk a lot about how like capitalism necessitates perpetual growth. Like this necessitates like perpetual existence for all of these companies.
Yeah.
Or the thing that you were paying for is worthless.
Yeah.
And that it didn't used to be that way. Like you can still drive a Saturn.
Yeah.
You know, like it's harder when a car company used to go out of business. It was like, well, it's more of a pain in the ass to find the parts or whatever, but you can drive it and like you can get it fixed.
Yeah.
It can still work. But when you have these subscription things, if something goes under, then like, yeah, what recourse does that lady have? The company went bankrupt. They can't pay her back for the car.
No, yeah, nothing. Like, I'm sure you could she said it was a 2.5 ton reminder that she has 42,000 out of pocket visible from her front window.
That sucks.
Yeah. She said, my car is actually just bricked. It's a garden ornament that won't go into drive. She said it sat there since June. She said she's been back and forth the insolvency service. She has no idea about anything. She says down her wits end, oh, lady, go get some beans and put it on something and just gobble it down and do whatever it is y'all do in that rainy hellhole. But yeah, that's a crazy thing. Also, we were talking about selling the car. If I were to sell you my Mercedes, my subscription to the heated seats and the acceleration, which I would totally have if I had a Mercedes. I don't have one, so I don't have those things. But if I did, I would. But if I were to sell you my car, it would be like you would have to resubscribe to the heated seats, and what's going on at this point? What's even happening? I don't. That's just it's baffling to me, and it makes me really angry.
Well, yeah, it's just frustrating because it's like, especially with cars, it's like the big thing is you want to buy it in cash, right? You want to not have a car note. You want to be able to just like be like, I'm buying your Mercedes, and then I have a Mercedes.
Yeah,
And like I saved up and I got this car and now it's mine. And like, yeah, you have to perpetually owe this company money as opposed to saving up for a one-time thing. Like I understand if it is a service you're going to use all the time. Like I have some, like I used to get my pet food on a subscription, like for my cat. Like there are things where it makes
yeah,
sense to have it sort of automatically done. But for stuff like a printer or a car or like it just, there's no reason why this can't just be a one-time
yeah.
like transaction, except that you want to ring me for everything I've
Everything I'm,
got,
I'm fucking
except that you
worth.
want to make me a serf.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so like as we wrap it up, I wanted to talk about just kind of the like these are all the things they've done, but some of the underhanded tactics they use that I read about that I was like, oh, I didn't even think about this, and it made sense to me. Was that
Mm.
a company's okay? So think about this. When's the last time you did like some like again you looked at a website or something or gave your email address, and every 3 or 4 times a day you're getting an email from this company,
Sure.
right? Then once you subscribe, that stops. And I noticed this. Once you subscribe, you don't hear
Mm-hmm.
from these
They
motherfuckers
want you to
ever
forget.
again because they want you to forget that you even have it. You
Yep.
know? So what they're like, another thing we talked about was how, capitalism, they say things like this, capitalism will spur growth and innovation, but that actually doesn't work when you take into account the, subscription model is because innovation like requires money. So it's overlooked is that with our current model, there is no innovation without money. And the things that we need aren't always profitable. Like we don't, saying we need just cars that work and run. And it's becoming this like, oh, that's not actually the most profitable thing for us. A car that
Mm.
routinely doesn't work or doesn't run based on how we feel about your balance with us, that's actually more profitable for us. And that doesn't nobody needs that. That's not doing anything. The idea, a car that it's like a fork with like little spoons on the end of each tine. It just doesn't really do anything, and it shouldn't exist. And it's just it's crazy that creating these things is now looked at as like, oh, hey, good job, you made something that doesn't help anybody but y'all, and it's just you're just releasing this like bastard thing into existence. I don't know.
There's a good article about this called The Rot Economy by Ed Zitron, who has a podcast called Better Offline, where he talks a lot about AI. But he basically says the same thing of like the the innovation now is just in ways to extract from the user. It's not in making things better.
Yeah,
It's to make things more extractive. And basically like every app, every like subscription app exists to get our information and our money first, and then to do what the thing the app is supposed to do second.
yeah,
And I was just talking about this with dating apps because, like, I'm on dating apps and they have gotten markedly worse. And I think a lot of people blame, like, people, like they
yeah,
blame the opposite sex, or they blame
yeah,
a generation, or they blame like, oh, I think people aren't good at dating anymore or whatever. It's like it's not that, it's that the apps get worse so that people stay on them longer. A
yeah,
successful dating app would have a declining user base because it would
yeah,
be matching people. So like yeah, and it makes people more hostile to each other because they're blaming each other for this problem. And it's like, it's not you, it's Match Group. Like,
yeah,
it's the people that own these is why this is so bad. But I think that exists like all over the place. I
yeah.
think that's just what these things do now. Yeah, there's no incentive for them to make things better because they're like indefinitely charging you money. It's not like you pay once and then, oh, we're going to come out with something new and you're going to pay more for it because it's better than what you had because they have you forever. They have you
Yeah.
hooked.
Yeah, man. I haven't explored that space myself. Val, yeah, that's something you're.
Yeah, I have a question about this, if y'all don't mind.
No, not at all.
When it comes to like the car no longer functioning, I think what freaks me out the most about that is like how like we're one step away from having like zero rights within our car. So like what I envision is that this moves up into, you know, in a high-speed chase, my car is going to get shut off.
Yeah, you just
Yeah,
shut.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, shut your car down. Oh yeah, or like you don't like. Yeah, you don't make your payment. They shut your shit down, and you're like running from somebody in a parking lot, and now you get to your vehicle, and it's not doesn't work. Yeah, shutting your car down during a high speed chase is diabolical. I would be heated. I would be as heated as those seats if I was paying that $18. Yeah, it's a crazy. So, I guess at the end, you want to talk about what can we do about this, and it doesn't really seem like anything's gonna work until they just learn their lesson that they like this. They've run their course on this. They've done it as much as they can, and now they can't. And I think that you obviously is like, using who you spend your money with, what you choose to be, what apps you choose to be on, what apps you choose to not be a part of. I've been lucky that I haven't had to use Lyft in months, just because I have a vehicle, and I'm a little more centrally located now, and like I don't know, things are better. And I had to use it the other day because I missed the work van going in for work, and I had to call Lyft. And I was being like, damn it, I thought I was done with these people. So it's like whatever you can use or decide not to use. But something that Congress is doing that I think is I hope it goes through. This is it's the Federal Trade Commission announces the click to cancel rule, making it easier for consumers to end recurring subscriptions and memberships. It's fixated directly at this. The Federal Trade Commission announced a final click to cancel rule. Basically, the idea being that if you can buy and subscribe with one click, you should be able to cancel with one click. And
I think this is already a rule in some states. I think in California, there might be a rule about this. It might be not as restrictive. I just know they're like, in a lot of places, like here, if I wanted to cancel my gym membership, I would have to go in person. In California, I wouldn't. I would be able to do it online. So like, I think there are some places it's more restrictive, but a one click for everybody would be amazing.
Yeah, having to cancel your gym prescription that's been happening this whole episode, folks, and I apologize. Having to cancel your gym membership in person, that should be like the wall right there. You should not that should be a punishable offense. Like that's insane that you'd have to go do that, because there's no justification for that other than we know it's harder for you to do it. We know it's embarrassing. They shouldn't. Man, that should be illegal. And I'm going to use it in California. It's illegal. That's good because Planet Fitness had their teeth in me for a while. I was like, bro, I'm not going to go to Riverside, let alone fucking Planet Fitness. So if the click to cancel rule goes through or gets passed, that would be better. But I mean, until then, it would just be like them understanding that this isn't going to work. And for the time being, it is. And I really don't see like anything other than that. It's just being like, they find out, hey, it doesn't work. I think we're going to we're already starting to see some of these streaming services combine into things like, oh, you get Hulu and you get this and you get this.
Yeah,
and
they're reinventing cable.
Yeah,
again. They're like getting back to cable, where everything is bundled into one thing.
Have you seen the Captain Planet, the Planeteers meme, when it's like the heart, heart, wind, water, whatever. They're like Netflix, Apple TV, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, and it's Captain Planet comes out. It's like the same price as cable. It's a pretty good one, but yeah, that's and like the subscription model for TV has just had untold effects on like how things are. Like just the death of like long seasons, the death of comedy of writer as a job is no longer.
I was just gonna say it's like directly responsible for none of our friends having jobs.
Yeah.
The streaming stuff. It's really bad.
Yeah, it's like the idea that also what they do is, because of the nature of the subscription models, they have like, it's changing the way TV has to be written, and also the way it's shot. Like that, like they've had people getting scripts back with notes being like, "Hey, we want somebody to have this playing in the background, because if like it's too engaging, they might pause it because they think they're missing something. We don't feel they're missing anything," and it's just I don't know if that speaks more to the American attention span, but it's certainly a just
Well, it's
a side
also
effect.
it's also like they will make whole movies and then not release them because it's more profitable, like
Yeah.
because of their models and stuff. Like there's just a lot of stuff like that that is really strange about this model. I read a really good article about it a while ago, and it's the name of it's gonna escape me or even where it was. But yeah, it's just it turns out like TV made a lot of sense. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
way we did TV, like actually was pretty good. It's like, okay, you watch an ad and then you get back to your show, and
Yeah.
the way streaming has definitely put it through a strange process, and that I don't think has necessarily made it better, but
No.
yeah, it is what we've got. So
Yeah. I miss when shows used to write to a commercial break, and there would be like
yeah,
multiple little like multiple little act break
yes.
moments or whatever. That was good. It like, it certainly stopped me from watching a fucking character, I don't know, walk around an underground silo for 4.5 hours total of screen time and nothing happened. It was
You're
like,
so mad about
oh
Silo.
God.
So.
I just go the fuck outside. That's all. I just wanted to see what the outside was. It was a question that a series that dared to bravely ask the question, what if the future looked like shit and everyone was stupid and it was boring and whack and dumb and nobody was doing anything interesting? What if the future looked like that?
But guess what? It was probably really fucking cheap to shoot because they were
Oh,
all on
yeah.
a soundstage that
Yeah.
looked like a silo.
Yeah.
So there you go. And every streaming service has to make 9 million TV shows. So
Yeah.
that they got to make some cheap ones.
I want to be
it's,
involved. I want to be involved in a class action lawsuit against every mystery box show that I've given fucking 8 weeks of my life to, being like, it'll turn around. I just got to see what's behind that door. What do those numbers do? Whatever the case may be.
It's never satisfying.
Yeah.
It's never satisfying. That could be a whole other reason about how TV has gotten weird, is because I blame Lost. It's because it's Lost's fault.
Yeah. Dude, I was trying to explain it to Jake Rowe the other day. I was like, dude, to watch modern television, you have to watch Lost. I'm not saying Lost is bad, but like to understand why modern television is at where it's at, you have to watch Lost. Everything else is a spiritual predecessor. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, is that?
That's about where it stands. If the click to cancel rule goes through, everything will turn around and it'll be hunky dory again, and we'll be back to prime 90s. That's all it takes.
I wonder if they're gonna get lobbied. If that's gonna get lobbied out of passing, because it's one of those things that's like every reasonable person wants that.
Yeah.
Like every American would be like, yes, I think this is a good idea. Except for people that make a fuck ton of money off this stuff. And those are the people with lobbyists. Those are the people that can go bother Congress members and say, don't vote for this. So I'm interested to see if it passes. I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. But guys, thank you so much. And I would say worth it. Again, for those folks, it is worth it.
I want those heated seats. Like,
I want.
Yeah,
but guys, that is the subscription model. That is something I've ranted about before in previous episodes, and I just wanted to kind of put a pin in it and talk about everything that makes me mad about it. There it is. Next time you hear my voice on the narrative end of an episode, we'll be talking about some wacky character who pretended to be 8 different people. We'll lighten it up a little bit. But that was my last Pat Gets Angry episode for the summer, I promise. So. Kath, you got anything for us?
Follow me at Kath Barbadoro on Instagram. I'm doing a fair amount of stand-up these days in New York. So if you're in New York, give me a follow. I post my dates on there. I'm on Blue Sky too. I'm on TikTok a little bit. I'm dipping my toe back in. I'm Kath Barbadoro on everything. So check me out.
Yeah, guys. I'm at PZTX on everything, PEZYTX. Also, we are on Patreon at patreon.com/lie-cheat-and-steal. You get 2 more episodes every month, ad-free episodes at that, of all the ones out of our free feed. You get access to our Discord chat where people are talking scams. You can also follow us on social media platforms at Lie, Cheat, Steal Podcast. Let's see. I am going to be at this one comes out Thursday, so
a week from Thursday.
A week from Thursday. Okay, so I'll be at the. Oh, they definitely won't know about Wednesday. Never mind. I have a show tomorrow, and you're like, no, it's a week from Thursday. I was like, oh, then okay, it'll be good. No, go and see me. I'll be in Temple, Texas, at BJ's Brewhouse on the 7th of June, and go check that out. That should be pretty fun. Yeah, guys, anyways, yeah, check us out online. I hope you guys are doing good. Go through and cancel some subscriptions. It's just not ours. All right. You know,
Not ours.
do an inventory. As a matter of fact, once you've alleviated a few bucks and you're looking to splurge on something nice, get yourself get yourself a subscription to Lie, Cheat, and Steal at patreon.com/Lie, Cheat, and Steal. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you are having a great day. Be safe, be smart, but above all, don't get caught.
Don't get caught. See you next time.